It's that time of year to photograph the London Christmas lights, and in this video I'm going to tell you about where I went, what was good to photograph. I'm going to tell you about the equipment that I used. I took two very different cameras. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the experience of using those cameras and what worked and what didn't work. In some previous years, I've shot video, but this year I decided to concentrate on still photography, and I very much enjoyed the experience. So let's first of all look at the route that I took and where I found good scenes to photograph and capture the London Christmas lights. I started at Bond Street Elizabeth Line station and took a quick detour to capture the lights at Selfridges, and then retracing my steps to New Bond Street. This is where I spend most of the time, shooting the upmarket fashion and jewellery stores that have great displays. A trip through the incredibly crowded Burlington Arcade takes me on to Piccadilly and from there on to Regent Street, and this is perhaps where the best streetlights are to be found, but it's full of Instagrammers and influencers getting their shots in this iconic location. And finally, I crossed Oxford Street and spent some time at Langham Place photographing the iconic All Souls Church. The first thing to say about the experience is that it was crowded. London seems to get busier when the Christmas lights are up every year. There were thousands of people there, many of them trying to get photographs of the lights, of themselves in front of the lights. Mostly, like 99%, were using phones as cameras. Even with a 1%, that made a lot of cameras and a lot of photographers who were out there. So don't even think about taking a tripod. There just isn't room for it, and you'll have to be really quick to shoot when there are gaps in the crowds that you can get a good scene, or gaps in the traffic, because the traffic was pretty heavy as well, almost like continuous and often at a standstill. It's quite noisy, it's busy, it's crowded, but it's a great experience. I took two very different cameras. I took my Sony A1 with a 24-70 f2.8 lens on it, and I also took my RX1R Mark II. And because that camera doesn't have any stabilization built into it, I thought it needed something else, maybe just to liven up or make something unique about the photographs that were shot with it. So I added this K&F blue streak filter to it, and that creates little streaks of blue light, mostly where there is a point source of light. It's simulating the kind of anamorphic effect that you can get, but not really 100%. It's a bit unique, but I enjoyed using it, and you can judge for yourself whether it adds or detracts from the photographs that were shot with the RX1. My experience of using the two cameras was very different. The Sony A1 with the 24-70 is quite heavy, but it's very, very capable, and it's particularly good in terms of stabilization. You can shoot handheld. I shot many handheld shots down to a 1/10 of a second or a 1/5 of a second, and they were pin sharp in the background but allowed some scope for movement in the foreground. I'm sure I possibly could have gone longer, but that's as much as I tried. And then when it comes to the RX1, it's really light, it's convenient, you can just pull it out very simply at a second's notice. It starts up really fast, but it doesn't have stabilization. I did successfully get some images at a 1/10 of a second or thereabouts, but they weren't 100%. I had many misses, but there were enough successes to make it really work reasonably well. In terms of the success rate from the two cameras, I ended up, after curating the images that I came back with 50 images from the Sony A1 and 25 from the RX1. And the reason behind that, I think, is that, first of all, the success rate of images on the A1 was much higher. And secondly, you can't have too many images with the blue streak filter on the RX1 because it becomes a bit monotonous or a bit of overkill. But I really enjoyed shooting with both cameras. In terms of places that I didn't go this year, that I have been to in previous years, here are some that you might want to consider, because there are great Christmas lights opportunities in these places as well. You might want to consider going to Covent Garden. There are great Christmas light displays in the Covent Garden market itself. Trafalgar Square, St Paul's Cathedral, a bit further away. Harrods always has a completely amazing display of Christmas lights. And then there's Marylebone High Street, which also has great Christmas lights. So those are some places you might consider, and I'm sure I'll be back to those places at some time in the future. So I hope you find this interesting. I hope it gave you some ideas for maybe where you should go and how you can shoot the London Christmas lights. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.